freaking anecdotal around like, okay, do you believe the footage was accurate of what they were? Does Ashton know anything at all, or any of these whistleblowers is credible, like all that stuff? But I think there is a narrative. If you're following the technology suppression, that's real. Who's actually pressuring that? Is anybody really trying to change that in any meaningful way? And I kind of try to look out for guys like that. You look back at like have you heard of Thomas Townsend? Thomas Townsend Brown? These were guys that were around Tesla's time, like Heaviside and Farnsworth, that they did insane shit. Like they didn't even have like real like labs, and they were working like no air conditioning in a freaking farmhouse. But like Farnsworth made one of the first vacuum tubes. Uh, Thomas had his anti-gravity theory based on electromagnetic fields. I think it's he calls it what, electrogravitics or something. And all those people, like all their IP was just crowded behind General Electric. Like it ended up being highly suppressed inside of these corporations in one way or another. And you look at there a seed that was planted for like the creation of these intelligence agencies like the CIA, like the Air Force, these highly classified compartments that people talk about. All that technology was pumped into there through the private sector. So it's like this hand in hand thing. Like the private sector gets paid to give them weapons, the government protects the IP, and then through the war, you look at like fast forward through World War II, you start adding in programs like Operation Paperclip we know about. And they're being an intellectual property sponge, and they're they keep their finger on that dial like way stricter than. So I think it is interesting that people even think it's a conspiracy theory. Like I think generationally we don't even know what the world will be like.
I guess that's the thing though. Like, what's the world going to change into? Like, the world in a lot of ways will stay the same. Like all the buildings and shit. It's us that have got to change. If you want to change, some people don't want to change. They want to stay right where they are. I think everybody should kind of have the choice on one level, but it seems I don't know if you guys believe in predeterminism, like where something's almost decided for you. Like if you don't move, like maybe you'll get move along kind of thing, you know?
I think they do a very good job of just not even presenting the options. So I think what you said is exactly right. Like we don't, if anybody does come along and say this is how the world should be, right? And look, they've controlled technology and that's why it's like it is. I think that's not even that might be more connected to a
Well,
personal issue. Yeah.
they they sort of make the rules for themselves, and then they're kind of like, oh, we're here to protect you and keep you all safe, but like a loving government. I mean, it's a nice idea, but it just feels there's a real us and them. You know what I mean?
For sure. Like there's the the separation in knowledge and experience and
And a lot
maybe
of things have been kept from like all of us. It's like the true nature of this place. Look how they hooked it all up with wires, right? Telegraph poles and shit. Like it could be completely different hookup setup. It might take years to implement, but you could create. You know how everyone talks about free energy. Like I don't know, it could just be run in a way where everyone could have access and not have to work their fucking slave all their days just to pay their gas and electricity and fill their fridge. You know, maybe go on a holiday every fucking 10 years because they got to save up. You know what I mean? It's like people are stuck in this weird cycle. And it's not fair. No one really loves it, you know? Like what are they, the 5 or 10% that are making like millions of dollars. Whereas most people, you know, will never see that kind of money in a lot, even if they work their ass off. So I don't know. I
yeah,
think
and
uh, I think that it's like eternal issues, you know. It's always been there. Struggle.
yeah, I think and the average individual seems to be so locked into like they'll defend the system because they are working hard and they are getting a reward. You know,
Mhm.
okay, all the stuff I got to deal with, the lifestyle I got to live, I don't like it all. And then then what happens? They're all kind of trained to make it like maybe it's about you not accepting it, right?
Mhm.
And I think there is an issue there with maybe there does need to be a like a clear view of what the world should be like. Maybe there is.
I think. I mean, they've run they've run experiments like I think they did one with mice where they kind of gave it the group of mice a utopia setting, almost like where they could have whatever they wanted on their command. And apparently the mice get bored, whereas the ones who have to work for it, they out of all of them, they were kind of like the more resilient. And it's like I think it's if everybody had a function but could also because the military get to create what they want to create, right? They can create weapons and all this mad shit, and they get these just insane budgets, like billions and trillions of dollars to do. They can do whatever they want to do, but they make weapons, right? And it's just a strange situation to be in. It really is because
Yeah.
I don't think we're like that. I think most people aren't sitting there thinking about what weapons they could build next.
Have you heard the joke? It's like if aliens show up, they're going to be laughing at us because they're going to show up like, oh look, they got satellites, they got a defense system. Oh what? It's pointed at themselves.
Exactly. Like, who's the defense system for?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why humans fight and want to really, like, I'm being real now, like, Earth, for some people, we look at it, even though we're here and we're human, some of us feel really disconnect. Like, why is this happening? And we've been like that since we were young. Like, this place is fucking wrong, basically. But changing it, that's the thing, it's subjective, right? Like, you could have heavy metal world, right? That the metalheads would love it, but that wouldn't be for everyone, right? So
Right.
it's almost like the world's going to be an offer. I think all the options, but responsibly somehow. That people, you know, because things can get crazy, but you can't have no rules, right? And everyone just goes wild, and you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. That could probably be dangerous at first if people just had unmitigated freedom. I don't think most people wouldn't know what to do with it. I reckon, if I'm being real. Because they're so used to working and being locked in. If they just open up the gates and say, all right, do whatever you want, you know, you don't have to worry about money, boom, like, you know, like a complete reboot. People would just trip out. They'd sit down and be like, what do I do now?
Yeah, it's a conundrum. It's weird because you'll hear like a patriot say they're passionate about freedom and no government and just let me do my thing, but then they'll turn around and teach their kid, you got to work hard, man, just so you can feel good about your day, and like there is a little bit of a back and forth there because that includes supporting a system that forces you to work all the time, no matter what. You're never going to earn your freedom. You just got to work to work.
But I think the original model had avenues for people to work and then work, rest, and play. That there's this Mars bar fucking ad. A Mars a day helps you work, rest, and play, right? But
Mm.
that's the point, not just to work, because you got to rest and recharge, and sometimes you just got to relax, right?
Yeah,
Even because it's like you're a little kid, you go to school, you don't really want to be there, and you go to high school, right? It's like your whole life shouldn't be in these situations you don't really want to be in, giving all this time. I don't know. I've just got my issues with it all, bro. I think it could be just done differently. I think people should have the option.
yeah, and it seems like there are definitely some staples of life, like air conditioning, a roof over your head. Nobody wants a dirt floor. All these standards of quality of life, right? They require paying to a system, and the options of what system you pay into are very limited. Like I gotta pay Fayetteville Water to have water, right? There's no,
Yeah,
I can't
it
go
should
get
be
my
like
coffee.
world training. You know, like you when you're young, you go to a place. It's not like school. Like you learn, you read, you do all the learn about computers, technology, but it's more like training for the world. They should teach kids how to start their own business, how to fucking manage their finances. All that should be taught, I reckon, quite pretty young. Because you
Yeah,
could have really young entrepreneurs as well with good ideas. I don't know. I think like because you're more creative too when you're young, and you'll try mad shit because you got nothing to lose.
yeah, and they were definitely just printing off like Amazon shoppers through the 2000s. So
Hmm. Just because I've been listening to I got involved in the whole Earth discussion, if you will, and I've just seen a lot of people getting sort of, if anything, we got some answers, like definitely, but all in all, I think we all have more questions than what we even started with. And because it's such a trigger topic, I've just I started to lose faith in humanity listening to people discuss the shape of the earth. I just thought, like, it's one thing to talk about what shape it is and what it actually is and what we're actually potentially part of is truly bizarre. And I just that's if you don't feel alone in it anymore, that you just realize whether you know everyone or not, everyone's in this situation, where they're in this place and they don't really know what's who's in control, what the point of it all is. And if you're really honest with yourself, that's something you've really got to figure out for yourself. But then from there, I reckon that's the next level. Finding out what you really love, enjoy, are good at, whatever it is, and then do that, and something will
yeah,
happen.
Yeah, and a lot of people believe, okay, yeah, they release all this free energy, they release whatever hidden tech if it's there. People's lifestyles will get more oriented towards creativity. Right? There's a dark side of humanity out there. That's never going to go away. You know, what are other people going to choose to do with their free time? Well, there's probably going to still be a lot of people that just go do drugs and fuck off. But
But it'll be okay because everyone's being given the keys. Like it's your choice. Like people don't take responsibility always. They're scared. I was scared too when I was younger to fully accept full responsibility for my behavior, my thoughts, the whole bit. Right, total responsible. But that's power because if you know you don't want to hurt anybody, the real quest. Because I'm 48, right, and the older I'm getting, I just see now that time is valuable. And if you fuck with anybody on earth, honestly, like man, woman, or child, elderly to a baby, you mess with anybody, I think it's spiritual. You got to really be careful. Like your life, everybody's life is too short to be fucked with. And we're all trying to figure it out. And I think if we more work together somehow in the future, I reckon that's what's going to make this place a better place. People, rather being in all competition and dog eat dog, and this is just the way it is.
isn't it crazy? You come together with your friends and build a community and do good things. They'll call you a cult.
Well, cults as well can be. They usually end up in people like going to the other side, right? They all kill themselves or something, but it's weird. Like it doesn't have to be like that either. It could just be the group forms to make their lives better together. There's only so much you can do on your own, but maybe if you had 10 of your friends, you could all fucking then 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's better together. And then I think though the last thing I'll say is the danger always is that you want to come away from the group as well. You got to have the best at privacy and then, everything that's on offer. You got to have the two somehow. That's the balance. But yeah, that's me.
I think it's well said. And it doesn't mean like the world has to turn it into the freaking Shire, and everybody's walking around eating bread, like living some low end life because there's no real systems doing anything. It's everyone just bullshitting around. I think the real systems still come out, and I think they end up better. They end up
Yeah,
more, yeah.
you could rebuild the. It's a weird thought, but it, let's say worst case scenario, right? There was a nuclear war and heaps of Earth got destroyed. After that, they'd rebuild it, and you could. It's the sky. The sky's the limit with all people know now, and what they've learnt from pollution and plastic and people not giving a fuck, and AI's here. If people could just learn from it all and then take the best of what we've learnt and then move forward with AI from there. And we deserve better people than Elon Musk being in charge of the future. I don't want that guy in charge of my future. He scares the shit out of me. That
I haven't.
someone like him has so much money, and I just think he's got like dangerous thoughts. I
Oh no,
really do.
he's got some freaking troll thoughts. Like
Yeah, but billions of dollars as well. That's a lethal combination.
right now, I see him as literally somebody trying to be Iron Man, and hopefully he, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? and you see the
Yeah,
path that's just covered in the dead bodies of all the hero guys, right? So it's like, what's something bad gonna happen? But as long as he keeps like just trying to like do things he thinks will help average people to some extent. Like one big thing I like about his focus on his uh starship program is he wants to, do 30-40 minute trips to Paris. He
right,
wants to, right? So I see the idea. He's saying, you know what? If all the rich people are the only people that can afford to do business globally, and that's a big separation, let me try to give people a $200, flight to Paris. They can get there in 30 minutes, right? So they could do business in Paris if they wanted. Like him presenting it like that, I thought was awesome, right? But like then you start seeing like how deep is the facade that this guy's building, if
yeah,
it is.
yeah,
So
yeah. Because everyone has their moments, right? But I see big red flags with Elon personally. I
have you
saw
heard
this
about?
footage of he was playing a computer game, right? And his little kid, like there was like just a baby there. It's probably his kid, but just the way it was going down, I could just that dude would be non-stop. It would never stop. You know what I'm saying? Like he's almost like one of the key figures of whatever century this is. He's one of like the fucking full on movers and shakers of the modern world, you know.
Yeah,
But he
his
just
grand
seems like this goofy fucking dude who wears a t-shirt that says "Occupy Mars" or something, you know. There's something weird going on with it all. He's
have you
too
seen
dumb looking.
have you seen his grandpa was the first person to like try to take data and optimize the government with the technocracy party back in the early 1900s?
No, I've heard about his mum and emeralds and things like this, but he, the more you're describing him, he is like this weird superhero Elon. Like who calls their son Elon?
L.
It's his destiny. Donald Trump. I think that's the deeper part of it. It's like they've all been chosen somehow. You know what I
It's
mean?
it's real wild to see. It makes no sense to be honest.
Zuckerberg. There's like the whole thing's like it's like there's these 10 dudes who run the world, and they're all a bit like fucking odd.
Do you remember the connection as well with like he was in the group of coders, these early coders that wrote a lot of the infrastructure of the modern world, like the payment system, like inside of Swift.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, so
PayPal.
yeah, so he has loyalties from a lot of those programs, just like like Gates and
Yeah.
who's the dude from Apple or whatever. Like,
Wozniak and Steve Jobs.
yep, there you go. So like, there's this seed, and you look deeper and you see, oh well, Zuckerberg got handed intellectual property that was classified. Okay, so who else got given classified technology to develop their intellectual property? And you
Yeah.
start, yeah. So these guys probably, Elon, yeah, now he can come out publicly and say, I'm the highest paid military contractor in history. But haven't you always been, Elon? It,
Yeah,
it's
he was stealth. So if you see some of his early footage, he's got this like pretty hot model wife. Right? Don't know where she is now. Um, he's got like a really expensive car, like a McLaren or some fucking off the hook car. But at the time, he was going bald, young, so he looks a bit fucked. I swear, like his hair now, he's had treatment. I swear, like implants and shit, because he was going bald, bro. I swear. In this, I could send you. It's like if you type in Elon Musk young, you'll see it.
he got
And
real
he's like
thick
with this
all of a
chick.
sudden.
It's this mega car, but he was like a hardcore kind of old man nerd at about 20. And so, but now look at him. He looks younger now than he did when he was 20 or
Yeah,
however old he was.
you see how thick he looks now too? If you look back,
Yeah,
like
see,
he's
he's
got
changed. He must be having some treatments, I reckon.
yeah, dude, some crazy gene therapy from his custom AI.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, literally. I was gonna say something else. What was the first thing you said a second ago at the beginning? It was about
um, about
I think I lost it. Dang it.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. But it's very interesting to see all the stuff because like there this is something I don't like bringing up. It's like I hate talking about this stuff, but like all the satanic sex ritual crap, do you know
Do
about
you
any
think
of that?
he's involved in that sort of stuff?
Well, apparently, like there's a whole community of people that just believe they know. They believe that he's, involved with his mom and his mom has been involved with other men and they're all into
That
this ritual sex abuse type stuff and for me that's a big connection because I think there's evidence that the
have you
Epstein
seen
files.
his? Have you seen his mum?
Yeah,
She looks full on, doesn't she?
yeah, dude. Like you can see some of her social media got scraped at some point, but a lot of people have it like saved and some of the symbolism, she was part of a lot of the the ritual abuse, like sex trafficking system. You know when the people were posting all those imagery photos of like children being slain, but it was like weird. It wasn't direct. It just kind of looked like it from far away and stuff like that. All those weird images. She had a
Yeah,
bunch of those.
I've seen some strange things over the years, man.
Yeah,
Definitely.
she just had a bunch of dark shit on her social media, and all the paintings that were around her house were really creepy.
Because it
But
went back to what's her name? Abramovich. Marina Abramovich, I think her name was.
I
And
forgot her.
she did a thing with Lady Gaga, and they had like a bathtub full of blood, and they were writing messages and stuff, but it was like it was too real. There's something too, and that's where some people I remember like they just started to look at it a bit closely, and it was like this is fucking real. They're really fucking doing this shit. They're just doing it out in the open now, like total swag with it. It was like I think people are afraid of this stuff, and for good reason. But that seems to be the religion the elites truly practice, the dark arts.
I was following this guy that was like ex intelligence, and he basically got banned off of everything pretty quick. But he was sharing that Elon was into the darkest shit you can imagine, and I was just like, what?
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I chilled with his wife, like one Grimes, her name was, and like I met her before she met him, right? But she was quite innocent in a lot of ways, Canadian, but kind of wholesome, in kind of geeky way, which is pretty too. I thought anyway. Um, she marries him, and he turned her into like a real cyber kind of anime character. And she got more, and her music went like, and she just started to look really soulless and like a gothic sort of weird, like she doesn't eat enough, like bulimic fucking whore or something. Like it was just she just looked horrible, and
Bro gave
it
her a
just
firmware mod.
I don't know. It's just I don't get. I don't think he brings out the. After seeing what happened to her, I was worried about it. I was thinking like, what's he done to you? You've right. So
Man, he said this shit was dark. I kind of tagged it as probably a little bit like biased, but I listened to all this stuff. They say that he has, and a lot of billionaires have this apparently. It's like he has like 10 to 20 up anywhere up to like 30 kids with a bunch of different wives. Like that's
Yeah,
basically the claim.
that's like the footage I was mentioning. Because
Wow.
like he was playing the computer game, right? It was like just Elon at home. It was like someone was almost like holding his kid too. He wasn't even playing with his own kid. He was just playing computer. Like you know, it's just very to me. Um, but who am I to judge him? It's just some people's lives are just like me. I think we're real. What I'm realizing in this conversation is there are definitely levels of what you can do and what some people like dead set just blatantly get away with and how they've inherited all this wealth and then get into the positions they're in. That doesn't come round for too many people when you really step back. Most people are just working in a cafe or they're a tradie or, you know, they're doing something normal, not rocket sciencey. Most people are just normal, and then there's him. People like him and Bill, and like you were saying, right? So
Yeah.
it's the level that then they have a say completely in how things go. Like he was on Joe Rogan the other night, right? It's like these people, they're living like gods. Like I mean, couldn't he? He could go anywhere he wanted to on Earth, no restriction within reason.
Yep.
Would he? He'd just be able to do whatever he wants.
I think they try to have as many sons and daughters as possible so they can pick the good ones.
Just create an army.
Yeah, dude, and you pay the mom, right? You set all these moms up with, they never have to worry about life again. They get to take care of a kid they love, and
He
the
just
ones that
gets to
are,
have heaps of sex and shit.
yep, it's like Hunter x Hunter. You know what I mean? Elon just shows up every once in a while to inspire them, and the ones that turn into prodigies.
Yeah, he's just got like a sex factory, right?
Literally, I
uh,
think X is a freaking clone, dude. I bet X does not have a legit mom. I bet she is. I bet he technically is a lab-grown child from Elon's seed.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Grimes started to look real weird after they did. And she had a couple of kids with him. She started to look like a fucking vampire, man. Real
Me.
pale, you know? I was worried about it. I was thinking, what the fuck is happening here?
I met one of Elon's babysitters years ago. He told me some crazy stories. This was before I had the ears to hear, but I
Mm-hmm.
remembered bits of it.
You thought he might have just been making it up to impress you or something.
That's what I kind of thought too at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it's come true. Like he basically used to drop his kids off at his neighbor's house and give him like 10K. Like he joked about that on podcast. I'm like, Jesus. I used to
Just,
know
just going to McDonald's.
I used to know random people in Hollywood for no reason because of the stuff I did when I was a kid.
What
I
were
don't
you
know.
doing?
I used to be a webcam model.
A webcam model?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like I did like porn shows.
What?
Yeah, dude. I had like almost 100K followers on ChatterBait back before
You were on
OnlyFans.
porn.
Straight up. It was crazy, dude.
Right.
I saw the dark side.
Fuck, man. Was that must have been fucking the life for a bit though,
Oh, dude, it
because
was
that's
insane.
most dudes' fantasy come true.
It was insane, man.
I bet. I bet you should write a book, dude.
I've thought about it.
Hmm.
I've definitely thought
You
about it.
should. You could give the insight into what that world's really about and why. That'd be good. I agree with that.
Yep. Basically, the cartels are so prevalent in there.
Yeah, bro. It's the main. Besides drugs and weapons, that's the main fucking thing, and food. But again, it's all how you do it, right? We could have like really good weapons too, but it's all how you do it. It's the intention.
I pulled aggro on the Matrix though. I was doing like information breakdowns on all the stuff I was researching, and I wasn't like I don't know, I wasn't I guess I wasn't like I am now, but I was just talking about politics and all this stuff, and I got perm banned, bro, off my account with 85K followers. Is insane. But I don't know, that was kind of the seed that got planted because I started spending all my free time researching, self-developing.
Have you settled down, or are you still like a bit wild?
I'm super settled. Like there's a little gradient, but there's been
Hmm.
a lot of realizations. Like I was already planning on quitting. That's kind of why I got more into talking to people rather than doing the show. And I eventually got to a point where I realized I was like, holy shit! Like as free as this money is, like I gotta go. So I've literally spent 6 years in the show, and I eventually got to a point where I realized I was like, holy shit! Like as free as this money is, like I gotta go. So I've literally spent 6 years, made 800K plus, and I've just been blowing money, just living this lifestyle, just having
Hmm.
fun, being a dipshit. And that was a big seed for motivating me to really start researching and like look deeper into stuff. And I stopped partying. I stopped like being social around stuff. I used to just travel. Like literally, I would travel and just act like a totally different person because I had like basically unlimited funds
Yeah.
and didn't have to work every day. So it was insane.
Are a lot of the like because you hear things like, I don't know, are a lot of the people involved, like, is there anything positive in there, or is it pretty messed up?
Well, there was definite like layers. So I learned how to like kind of profile people a little bit in there, and I had a lot of good mods that were like by guys that were just very professional, right? You could tell they were like they may have something to lose in life, and they were just in there. They believed it was just a healthy outlet for them, right? And they didn't like fuck with me because I was a straight guy. Like made my profile clear on that, and just like had rules. I did like, not to get into that, but
I hear what you're saying. I appreciate
yes,
the conversation.
yeah. So my mods just basically were uh, well tuned around being respectful to a straight guy, but there were people in there that were degenerates. Like I saw a side of humanity that was just mind blowing, man. Like
I bet, bro. I know. I know
it's
we're fucking insane, aren't we?
we are. Oh my god. I got offered like 250K upfront cash to go strip in Las Vegas.
Hmm.
And I was just like, hell no. Like that is too good to be true. And even if it is real, I don't want to go to Vegas and strip. Like, no, no way. Like it was like, because I had a job in IT and I
Yeah.
just started making like a couple grand a day webcamming. Why would I not switch? Like, and just
Yeah.
be chill. But yeah, I got into acting a little bit at the end of it. So I was like, the agent that trained David Hasselhoff reached out to me. And dude, that's when I saw that's was the part that I really started realizing how corrupt the whole fucking world is. Like, he was literally having me try out for producers,
Mm.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, and I, and they wasn't blatantly like we were doing script reads and stuff, and like, but when he would interview me with like new producers and stuff like that, it would be like 1 or 2 second like live feeds, and half of them would just cut off without even talking. But one of them would act like, oh yeah, I'm interested in some parts. So it was like a big red flag for me. Like these guys may have been just, seeing if they were interested in me rather than seeing me as a new actor that they would talk to.
Fuck.
So it was crazy, man. And then I got into this like acting class, the Gasser
Hmm.
group.
Yeah.
And so he's my agent. I got a profile and everything. I was going to be cast for like these crime television shows like The Blacklist and New York Law, shit like that. I
Do
was
you
gonna
think
get
like you have to, not have to, but if you want to get ahead in that kind of world, you got to kind of get involved in a little bit of seedy shit to get ahead?
for sure. I mean, they were basically trying to groom me. They were trying to get me to virtue signal that I was okay with like transgender and homosexuality and all these things. With like they put me in a
Really,
script.
man, you've seen the real scoop.
Yeah, dude. They put me in a script read where they made me be this transgender named Josh, and like I
Yeah.
had already shared everybody I was a straight dude from Arkansas. Like I'm looking to learn how to act. Like I'm not. It was crazy.
Wow.
I ended up getting in a lot of trouble, which I don't see it as trouble. That's their problem, not mine. But
But
I
I
caught.
tell you what a story. You know what I mean? Like, they're the best stories. You've lived that. So, I mean, and
That's
that
wild,
that's
bro.
as real as it gets. You see, you just see people hide that a lot of that side, don't they? Their sexuality, I mean. It's behind closed doors, it's all there's this thing around it. But
I
I
wore
don't
it like
know, bro.
armor.
Like
I
you
wore it
you
like
seem
armor
like
and got
you've
to the
got,
end of the hood.
yeah, but you got out. You might, that could have gone so many ways. You could be like a cokehead or something, and I don't know. This just things you seem like you've come out the other side of that and lived to tell the tale.
Yeah, I see it as the Holy Spirit, man. Like for real. It was the coincidences that happened, some other events that end up happening to me. Is really incredible.
There you
Because I
go.
would, yeah, because I was challenging. I was doing a lot of heavy research trying to, prove evidence like that Christianity was not real to my family,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I basically ended up kind of proving that I had a lot of questions whether the Bible was real, right? And right when that happened, all the things started happening that caused me to get banned webcamming. So it was like a renewal of the way I thought, literally. I remember just not being conscious before, bro. I'm not even kidding. Like it was around 25, 26. I just had like a crazy conscious awakening. I've talked about it in here before.
Like you just switched on.
Yeah, I was like, "Doo," just all of a sudden I was like, whoa, what am I doing? Who am I?
Where have I been?
Yeah, whoa. I was not even logged
That's
in.
good. That's good. Good.
I try.
Like, uh, do you find the more you talk about it, it you're not alone in. There's a certain point where something shifted somehow, and some people switched on, and it's like it goes in waves or something. You know, it's not everyone at once. You know, it's like you happens to someone else. You know, it's here there, but something's happening, an awakening, some realization, deeper questions. Seems to be doing something. We can't see what we're actually doing. You know what I mean? On that mass collective consciousness. But I think positive is it feels like there's something more intelligent, and there's so much information that's being still kept from us, you know. But it seems like the gates are opening or something, and we're going to get more info. I feel, to make sense of stuff. You know, we need it. We need to make sense of some of this. Not be so fucking off, not knowing what's going on, always in the dark. It's not fair. Fuck 'em.
I definitely feel like there's a visible raising of consciousness happening, and it's happening randomly, seemingly at given times to different people.
Right?
Yeah, it's very, very crazy to see. And I've heard this position before, right? Like, like go back, maybe to like the 1500s. What were people thinking about? What were their values? What did people value compared to what we see as being like kind humanity, or educated or forward thinking. I think that even that benchmark is shifted completely just in like the last 20, 30 years. Right? I think it's so interesting. Like, I was born in the 90s and I'm going through school learning about our history. Oh, we just now were assholes and segregated people and killed people that were different color than us. Like, like you imagine how low consciousness must have been to consider that an exception compared to where we are now, right? And I see orders of magnitude and shifts happening in other places. I think it's more concealed because there's not, maybe human life isn't directly correlative to it, or it's not, it's not as extreme as racism and stuff like that. But for me, those are major examples that consciousness is moving quick, changing quick now.
Yeah. And more people are starting to realize that something big's being kept from them. They can't quite put their finger on it, but they sense it. And that's why I think this is happening, because they're kind of I think some of their lies and shit and their illusions are coming unstuck. I really do. It's like they've been busted. They'll
Yeah,
never
it's hard.
admit they've been busted. That they've been busted somehow. you
Yeah,
know,
dude.
public's onto this shit. There's something much. Well, a lot of this. Personally, I feel like I'm just waiting for something really big to happen. Don't know what it's going to be. I'm not worried, but I somehow sense something is drastically going to change somewhere. Something's going to happen, and it's just going to. I just hope it's for the best for everybody. I really do. I'm so sick of everyone being afraid. It's so boring.
You want to hear my dream? You don't have to say yes.
Go, bro. Hit it.
I had this dream that I can't decide if it's some crazy vision or if it's some random trip. But I had one of the most lucid dreams I've had in a long time. After I first kind of woke up and I was really diving into the Bible and like kind of like I had that, almost an adrenaline rush. Like, holy crap, I'm totally different because I was focusing on the Bible. What the heck, Whether it's coincidence or not, I had this dream and it's basically like I'm on this beach basically, or the perspective's like on the beach overlooking a great distance of water, maybe out in the ocean probably. And up in the sky is this giant like chandelier. It's like filling probably a third of the sky, and it's center in the middle of the sky in my view. And as I focus on it, I see it's made up of, I don't even know, man, like billions, maybe trillions of swords, like blades.
Fuck
And
yeah.
yeah, and this chandelier like lowers down towards the water, like lowering down, and a swarm that had like intricate vertices and patterns, a swarm of like glimmering shards flew down. And as I focused on them, I saw that they were like even smaller blades, like uncountable blades. And I see this all like lowering down the sky. And that's pretty much the dream. And there was a lot of really heavy glimmering in the clouds and stuff around it. It was really wild.
The fucking the the feeling I get from the chandelier, but the twist on it being like blades and shards. It's like a double edge there.
Yeah, what does that
But
mean?
but I, I mean, I'm with you on that actually, because part of the divine, I call it the divine, because the machines and alien and things that are more intelligent than us, there is a level that maybe we should be a little bit afraid if there is something more advanced than us, right? But I think with time, we'd adjust. I don't think whatever else is potentially here, right? Um, I don't think it's afraid of us. I think it's the other way. I think we're the ones in the dark, and there's a much deeper, elaborate game being played, and we're kind of, although we're kings of the animal kingdom to a certain extent, I think there's quite a bit above us, like quite a bit. Not just angels or demons, I'm saying another kind of hierarchy that we're not even aware of. Because if you follow it through from all the animals here to us, right? You're trying to get to God, right? You got to keep leveling up and think of the life forms all the way to whatever God potentially could be. So I think we're kind of, that's for me what this is about. It's not just about the shape of the earth, you know. It's like having a human life. The more we find out about it, we are fortunate. Even though Earth is weird, just a good thing to have a human life. I've gone through a lot to be able to say that, but I'm glad I know it. I'm just one of those people. Like, I know a lot's gonna, it'll go on. I don't think it's in any danger of blowing up or anything like that, right? Unless it was fucked with. I think everything's pretty much in play, all the cycles, and I reckon many generations will come after us. And yeah, just don't live in fear. Like, I think all of us can at least see it's okay to ask bigger questions and think about things that don't make sense. And I don't know, a human life isn't even that long, so just don't let whoever the powers that be are just control all your thoughts and how you feel, because that's a step too far. And if you keep on with that kind of thinking, you'll be able to break the matrix apart.
That's wild. Have you ever had a dream that's hyper lucid?
Yeah.
Do you ever
So
notice there's a tone to it too? There's like a feeling connected to what you're seeing.
real, of course.
It's so crazy, man.
It's super important. Like Carl Jung, people talk about him, but he kind of mapped the dream world, like some of the archetypes, what the messages are about. He studied it, the subconscious and all, the unconscious mind. He was trying to understand too.
I feel like I'm still in some baby step where I was shocked in the reality of what my brain's capable of. And I'm kind of like, you know what I mean? I'm like,
No, it's true. It's there's they say we've got, so you got your mind, right? The brain. then you got your heart, your stomach, you know, your manhood. It's all kind of got a mind of its own, but it's all synchronized, right? Because you can think with your stomach, think with your heart, think with your head, think with your feet. You know, it's multi level.
Yeah, makes
Human
you think of this.
design's really pretty good. I know we can bleed and break bones, and it's got flaws, but it's pretty good design for the most part, I think.
Yeah, and luckily, maybe hopefully, it's not a permanent state. Maybe it's designed just for
No,
this, right?
this doesn't last forever, thank goodness. Like this, but I've been, without saying too much, I've had it alluded to me that we don't, um, when we die, it doesn't end there. And I don't know what that means, but I've been assured that potentially we don't die, even though we do physically. And some people as well are kind of a bit scared by that. You know, some people are all right with the thought that lights go out, right? Body dies, and that's it. Never seen from or heard from again. No insight. You're no longer. That's gone. Kaput. And some people are cool with that. You know.
Make some music, you'll live on forever, buddy.
There you go. But
I
the
heard
feeling of living forever and going on, see what a stark difference that is. That's
Yeah,
huge,
but
man.
do you want to keep going through this fucking torture, though? To be honest.
But not the human struggle. No, I reckon there's a place, guys, where it's not like this. It's not about stress or worry or fear or money or
Yeah,
weapons. Nothing.
yeah. That's when you're dead, my friend.
Right? It seems to be outside of the physical realm.
what if it's just like the waiting room? That's what an atheist would say. I asked this. What do
Well,
you?
here's the here's the thing, man. There's more bodies and there's more and more souls that coming into these bodies, right? So like, there was less people before, right? And there's more and more and more people. So where the fuck are all these souls coming from?
There
Unless
you go.
half of these people are NPCs.
The souls, where do the souls come from and where do they go? Good question.
Think about this. We
Where did
didn't
it
have to
go? It's
wait.
like whatever, but where are they coming from? Because there was less people, right? So I mean, if you're talking about recycling souls, right? You'd always have the same amount of people, right? Reliving their lives, right? But
Mm-hmm.
no, what's happening is there's a lot of people and there's more and more people every day, right? Yeah, sure, people die, but there was a population boom at one point, right? So during that population boom, where are all these extra new souls coming from?
Where do you think?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. I mean, what's your style?
Okay.
It's all speculation. Doesn't matter. There's no right answer here. There's no right
I
answer
think
here.
I personally think that I break it down like this: like the creator or creation wants to create, right? So it's in a never-ending expression of itself, but a never-ending one. And every soul that gets to live, that's what creation wants: life. That's what makes sense to me. So it's like a soul generator, and
It's
they're
a
just
soul generator, eh?
they're being generated, hopefully by love. You know, that's the best. I think
Oh,
that would make the best human if the two involved truly love each other. Then they make that seed, right? That's you probably got the best chance. But like you say, a lot of people are waiting for their turn to have a go at it. It's good. Earth's not so bad. Like it's part of it sucks. Give you that, but it's not all bad.
What do you guys think about, like, if you think about trying to remember what it was like before you were alive? Like, can you do that?
No.
Right? Right. So it's just like there's no waiting room. There's no waiting period.
Oh.
Time is right. So it's not. It's just like a login point or a spawn point.
And
Well,
if we're talking about dreams, my dreams, if I ever have like dreams and like full REM sleep dreams, it's like always about shit that I experienced already, right? So it's not like I create new shit in my head, you know?
I it's not about this really, but I went to the
Oh,
jungle, right? And I was in the ayahuasca. This was years ago though, right? So
yeah, yeah.
it's memory now too. But the vision and the experience was I went upstairs and there was like it was like gold and I was up there, but it was so familiar, like I really was up there, and what was happening down here was more secondary, if you will. Like this wasn't the be all and end all, and what was happening up there was way more um, almost like the information that's being kept from us is up there. If probably some people will call it heaven or the library, where it's not kept from us. And I think that's what the great deception is about, that where we all really come from is upstairs, most of us. There's not too many who come up from the pit of doom, if you will. Most of us come from upstairs. Down, step down to human.
Do you think maybe there's a higher consciousness version of ourselves that
Mm-hmm.
chose, right? They chose to put a piece of their consciousness here that doesn't
Yeah,
remember, right? It's like
yeah.
this is all designed for that
Like a
process.
computer game that when we're up there with the headset on, we're playing our character down here.
Yeah. And then you could even connect that further to, okay, God, but let's just think biblically, like the creator, the like his voice is all of creation. So that means consciousness is part of him. So the idea of separating your consciousness into an individual with a unique identity would be really the only way to give, like, to create something new, if that makes sense. So I think there's an aspect of there being an interconnectedness, no matter what, of our consciousness to the creator's consciousness, and further in between a higher form of what our consciousness is already.
The best thing though, guys, is it's even the great monks and mystic teachers and masters will say the day you think you've all got it sussed out is the day you don't. And so it will always surprise you, will always be something to learn. It never ends. And that's what's being kept from us.
Yeah, being mortal, being a human and immortal is must be very unique, right? So it's like whatever's going on beyond that is just not even relevant in a human format or a filter. So
You
this is
just
some.
get glimpses of it. You get glimpses of it in drug experience, like an orgasm, dreams, driving a car fast. Just get glimpses. The point is though to do your best to enjoy it. You know, I've had a lot of years sitting around just fucking. But I've learnt from that. Just thinking bullshit and wasting time. That's the main crime. And I'm just getting older, but I don't want to. It's taken me this long to figure it all out. I didn't think it would. It's just taken this long to get here.
You think that in character creation, they're like, "Bug, our main character's up there pissed off. He's like, damn it, I put all my points into IQ in this, but my guy can't do anything. Like he just sits at home."
No, that's a good way to look at it, man. It is because a lot of people are afraid of this conversation. So it's nice for me because I find it easy to entertain it, and for a long time, I've had that sense that because I've met people too, it's like they're too good for this world, and it's like they come from somewhere else, and you wonder where do they come from. I just started thinking maybe some people come from upstairs to make it a nicer place.
Found 9 out of 10 times it's their grandma. Just kidding.
You know what I mean, though? They come down to like show you the way.
Yeah.
But we lose sight of it. You get used to Earth and you think this is where you come from. See?
And I think that's integrated into the test, right? If we remembered all of it, it wouldn't be a true unique our consciousness wouldn't be a true unique identity that's here to learn and grow and experience what it is to be human. So, and I think a lot of people develop questions around this scenario or this topic. They say, well, why this, why that? Well, it's like that's asking from the perspective of the human in the human experience, right? Rather than trying to put yourself in the shoes of maybe whatever the process is that we're an extension of.
Yeah, well, the new age people call it your higher self.
Yeah.
You get me?
Hmm.
So it's all alluding to it in a way.
Yeah, there's some buzzwords here I'm trying to dodge a little bit, but the densities or something, the law of one people are looking at.
Almost like a little you and a big you.
Yeah.
There's a
Which
bigger you.
yeah. And I see it as more of like a formulation of consciousness that exists outside of time, closer to God. It may not be ourselves as we think of ourselves here, as a human, but like I've had some crazy experiences for sure, where I felt like, coming out of it, I had just had a connection with my higher self. I had a higher view of who I was and what I could become, you know. And I think until you have an experience like that, it's hard to actually articulate it.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Every single person has that spark that's alive. Even the homeless dude or the junkie has the spark, right?
Hmm.
And it's just you get the lightning bolt, I call it, feeling when you start to acknowledge it and appreciate it, and that little bit of gratitude, it goes a long way. Just a little bit. Those two things, gratitude and consciousness, that even 5 minutes, it can change your day.
I think that's so true, dude. I'm a big believer in trying not to employ what I want and what I think I need from whatever's out there. And in the morning, before I work out and stuff, I just do a prayer and I say, I'm just thankful that I'm waking up today. Give me a chance to do something good today, and that's it. Let me look at what you want me to do. And I try not to use names and stuff because whatever
You don't.
created
Yeah,
us
you
knows
don't
our
need.
hearts. Yeah,
Doesn't care. It doesn't care what you call it. As long as you're acknowledging that it's there, that's all that matters, bro. And it's that's you time. That's between you and whoever you want to call it.
yeah. And I think if something created us, it's outside of time, right? It's this biblical narrative of omnipresence. So it knows our hearts. It knows what we can do and what we can't do, and all the perspectives we have, and all our wants and needs. So I think it's just important to be thankful, right? To just have that heart of intent to be like, I'm thankful that I'm not, you know, something else, like whatever it is,
Yeah,
whatever you can come up with.
that's right. It's a good conversation, man. It's a rare conversation as well.
It is rare. I pretty
I
much shit
felt
the bed.
too. You made yourself vulnerable, so I thought the only fair thing to do is to return suit, and that got to a good place. That's some sacred shit.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for listening to my silly dream.
No, man, that's good. Good.
I don't know. I had so many lucid dreams when I was a kid, and I've had a lot of unique experiences. I think it's truly had nothing to do with, I think anybody that who may have had some conscious awakening, they know it had nothing to do with them. They didn't jump through some gate. They didn't do the right play. It came down to some sort of, it feels like luck, but it's like divine coincidence. So have you ever read Isaiah 48? To me, it's a lot of evidence for kind of what we're talking about.
What was the book?
It's Isaiah 48.
The book. Let's go.
I think it's 48, 7, 8, 9. Talks about the furnace of affliction. I refined you. I refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. He says, though not as silver. So like we're not getting poured into a mold. Like we're getting refined through a process. And the text calls it the furnace of affliction. Right. And then you start considering, okay, well, we're
I'm good
designed with our.
lighting.
You hot micing, or you can go ahead.
Oh no, my bad, my bad.
But yeah, it's just it's not as silver. It's not like a mold. You're not getting poured into a mold. There's a process. Um, and then you start thinking about okay, yeah, we're humans. We have like this neuro system that allows us to feel pain. We're clearly designed to be like hyper integrate, a very raw process, if that makes sense. So it connects heavily. Like a lot of people say, why did my kid die in a tornado if God's real, right? It's like, well, I mean, really, that person may have gotten taken out of the matrix early and quick and kind of got lucky or something. Like, who knows? Like, the furnace of affliction is long term. The longer you're here, maybe that kid had already learned something, and who knows? But it is anecdotal, like, to some extent, like just people's stories and ideas and stuff. So
The thing I keep telling people is trust yourself. People look at me funny, but it might sink in. There's like your intuition. That's what I mean. Like everyone has an intuition somewhere. So trust that because it doesn't lie to you. Find that thing that is usually right and doesn't lie and trust that.
no coincidence, the following verses, he's like, "My own hand laid the foundations of the earth, and my right hand spread out the heavens." I'm Bible thumping now. Sorry.
No, it doesn't matter. You do you, bro. Just someone will tell you to rein it in if they need to.
Hey, y'all quit that Bible talk. Quit that Bible study. Nah, I've heard people go pretty deep on the Bible in here. It's pretty cool. Dude, weirdly, this to go back to earlier, we were talking about like the magnetic technologies, like the plasma technology. I'm really locked into following this guy, Ashton Forbes, covering the classified plasma technology. I shouldn't say the plasma technology like everyone knows about it, but allegedly there's a lot of people in the field that have masters in plasma physics that have found just most of the high level study papers are either they seem to be unavailable or classified. So, and even the people that got these degrees, like, it's interesting. You start looking at what degrees are available in college and like what path you can go and blah blah blah. This guy who has a PhD in plasma physics. He's saying how gate kept it really is. So it's really intriguing to see all this stuff unfolding because there's a background to all this. Like everyone knows there's hidden tech. There's all these conspiracy theories. So
Yep. So what do you guys think is happening with the crypto market? Who's fucking it?
oh, you probably know who's fucking it.
Well, not really, but didn't BlackRock liquidate like some $1 billion? But I think that's just fucking taking profits. You know what I mean? Paying the dividends.
Yeah, and I just think the cartels are so integrated into crypto that they can use it as a little bit of a beaten stick to pull all their money out, especially if they're trying to stop the Trump administration, what they're doing.
It's not beneficial for them to pull it out. That's stupid. Fuck.
Well, they don't mind delaying 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, I think, but What do you think short term though? I'm just thinking 10,000 foot
Well, for them, it's
viewport.
not beneficial to move money. What are they gonna put that money into? Like what? Fucking U.S. dollars?
Well, most of them are
Crazy.
cashing it out. Most of them are cashing it out to assets anyway, as fast as possible. But whoever is using it to filter money through is probably starting to strictly reserve that. I just see it as being it's a way for them to kind of, if they wanted to pull money out of it to make it crash before Trump gets the AI system built. Because I think they're laying a foundation to pick a coin. Like Trump wants to be the head of picking the next, you know, choice coin.
Right.
But that's just 10,000 foot stuff.
No, it's
Because
fucking. It went up. It went down, but it's like such a drastic swing too. It's like 83,000 right now. Well, 84,000 right now. It was like 90 something thousand. So it's like a huge, yeah, 10% swings, just Bitcoin swinging like in a day.
well,
10%. That's huge.
yeah, do you think that's connected to Trump's announcement or?
What did he announce? I didn't hear shit. I'm fucking way out of this. I
Oh, okay.
just, whatever.
Yeah, he announced. I think it was maybe yesterday. He announced the strategic crypto reserve. I can't remember the list of coins he put on there, but they're about to strategically invest American money into crypto for reserve.
Amazing. And this is why it's tanking, because they need the money, the crypto to be cheaper so they can buy more. So somebody is doing the manipulation, and it's like an agreed upon back fucking door backhanded shit.
Man, fuck
Then after
crypto.
he buys in, if after he buys in, it's all gonna go back fucking crazy up.
Fuck crypto.
Good for you. Stay poor.
Time to sell a car and go buy coins. Dang it!
Oh, bro, like I'm literally, yeah. This fucking these drops, these diffs, I'm definitely buying some because I just finished my taxes. Nice little tax paycheck coming in, and fucking drop that shit on Ripple, XRP, probably most of it.
Shit is about to get
Yeah,
crazy in it.
just buy more XRP. I mean Bitcoin, XRP, Bitcoin or XRP. You know what I mean?
Man, fuck Bitcoin and crypto. Hope someone's quantum computer fucks it all up.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
job.
someone's
Ignorant people don't know what they're talking about. I love this shit.
all it's gonna take is
Oh
one
yeah, if they
person.
come with the quantum computing and then they can just solve the algorithm stupid quick, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, yeah, my balls.
Yeah, AI assisted hacking is it's gonna ruin people's visions on Bitcoin. I think.
AI
No,
is
it
cool.
ain't hacking. It's how fast you can mine it. If you got these quantum computers that can mine it dumb quick, I mean, you could fuck around and find out.
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, it wouldn't ruin it unless the people were nefarious. If you get over 50% of the Bitcoin mining power, you can do what's called a double spend. So as long as the people weren't nefarious, that like say you did put a quantum computer online and you're mining Bitcoin with it now and it's blazing fast, everything would still be fine. The other miners wouldn't be worth shit anymore, but they would ruin the whole mining industry.
Yeah, and I think it's not a long term thing to think you should be able to build racks in your garage and mine money. I think there's probably a realistic aspect to that going away.
I love that idea. I actually used to
No,
have
but
a
the
rack of
miners need to
Bitcoin
be
mining.
there in order to process all the transactions, my friend. So the miners are not going nowhere.
Yeah, if you got a quantum computer that can do it crazy, it's going to make the other miners not even worth it. They're not going to get their share at a block.
Not even just about mining. It's about hacking people's keys and shit.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, watch and see.
Well, the
You can hack
infrastructure.
You can hack
There is,
people's keys for sure. I know people that have had their accounts hacked.
Yeah, listen, though that's like not hacked, like that. They gave up the keys because they're stupid. They gave access to the keys. It's not like, oh, the fucking guy like got your address and just kept fucking brute forcing that address and eventually found those fucking keys. No, bro. The way that you get hacked is you're fucking stupid. You have your email exposed and then your email is connected to your fucking wallet and then they fucking siphon your fucking wallet through your email because you fucking did
We
some
went over
bullshit
this
with
the
your
other day. It
email.
wouldn't be brute force. We went over this the other day. It wouldn't be brute forcing an address, a wallet address. You just put, you would just put words in, and wallets would eventually unlock. There's no need to like target a specific address. It doesn't even make sense.
No, I get you, but do you know how many combinations of these words? You know what I mean?
That's the thing, dude. It's in the numbers. Like, there's a Jeremy. You know, right now there's a website where you could go where it gives every single Bitcoin address and the actual key, like the secret key as well, and the actual address. There's a website right now. It's public to everyone, and you can just like every single Bitcoin thing is on there. The thing is there's like so many billions of pages, and it's no matter how many times you like click through pages, like you'll never find one with any Bitcoin in it because there's so many of them that even if you it's like the statistics that you would even find a page that even has a wallet that even has any money in it. Now, of course, then you'd still kind of be stealing it from them though. But the thing is that like all of the public and private keys are publicly out there. There's just so many of them. So the statistics are like locked in
Couldn't
in
you
a
set
way
up a
that's like,
bot to just rip? Couldn't you just set up a bot to just rip through them?
Yes, but it still wouldn't be fast enough.
still is not fast. Matthew, what about 5 bots? 10
What if
bots?
you had a quantum computer with 17 bots?
You could set up a bot that every particle in the universe would be computing it, and you still wouldn't find enough.
How many drinking birds per bot do we need? Is this like 3 drinking birds per bot? Because if we could get, just those things on infinite. No, I'm just joking. But do you know some of those numbers, Matthew?
Well, yeah. Bitcoin wallets are 256 bits, so it's 2 raised to the 256, and there's only 10 raised to the 80th number of particles in the entire universe.
That's some Planck
Wait,
shit.
so you're saying there's more wallet addresses than there are atoms in the whole universe?
Yes, lots more.
What?
And
Even
by
in
the
the
way,
whole in the whole globe universe thing too, with all of the space and the whole thing?
yeah. And if you were unsatisfied with how many Bitcoin wallets there were, you could just double it by putting one more bit on there and say, okay, fine, we'll have 257 or 258 or 250. It's not hard to like. It's an exponential number. That's why there's so many.
Good luck brute forcing.
Well, it's good. Yeah, and someone said it earlier. It's like getting your email and stuff. Like some of these future AI assisted hackers will be able to just see what you see. They're various technologies, right? And just access your wallet one time, right? Similar to like getting your authentication. You get the factor code or whatever for 2 minutes. They'll pull
So
off
you
a
could
window
use
or
a
something like
hardware wallet. That's what the people, the crypto anarchists, the serious people, they use a hardware wallet.
yeah, the airspace hard drive.
It's like a little device that keeps the keys on that device only, and the only time you ever connect that is if you're making a transaction.
The NSA actually has a backdoor in those devices.
Well, you could use like
It has
Stingray
been
tech.
it has been speculated that potentially they have a backdoor to all of these devices, like even through like anything that's Apple, iOS, or like anything that's Microsoft. Now, arguably, maybe when you get into some of the things with like Linux, like is that fully
It's
controlled or
listen,
not? Yeah.
friends, it's burned into the fucking firmware now. So let's say, for example, the Lenovo laptop that I fucking got from the buddy of mine, right? It's like a modern laptop. Just so you can easily install the operating system. It's not even on the hard drive anymore. You just connect the Ethernet cable, and then everything just goes whoop, loads up right away. Like everything is just so fucking. It could be all in the fucking firmware. You know what I mean? Meaning it's encoded in the chips. Like all the backdoor shit, right? It's in the chips. It's not even in the operating system. It has its own little back end fucking operating that nobody can see. And it's not even, you won't even see it in the task manager when you look up with the operating system. You know what I mean? Just saying.
Do you think do you guys think Bitcoin will go up or down when they reveal who the
Both.
Satoshis are?
It will go up and down in an
When you do what?
unpredictable way.
Like, or do we have any bets on who the Satoshis are?
What's a Satoshi?
They
It's a
call them like the
Bitcoin
four.
cent.
They call them like the four Satoshis, like the people that allegedly created Bitcoin. And like, did you guys hear about Jack Dorsey's maybe one of the fucking Satoshis?
Well, they announced
Oh,
Bitcoin,
Really?
Solana, and XRP. So
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin dropped all the way down to what did it hit? Like 77 almost, 78 down there. And then so it kind of hit a low. And then right when Trump made that announcement, that thing the other day, it blasted back up to like 95 or, up back into the 90s. So it took a hard like recoil back up. Yeah, because it had dropped from like the 90s kind of slowly the last week or two down to 77 or whatever, which was the lowest it's been for a while. But then, yeah, after then Trump did that announcement. So, I mean, whatever he's doing with Elon Musk and stuff, it just seems like it's just going to keep going up overall.
Well,
it's actually back down already. It's at around 85 now.
well, that's because the tariffs. I hear that's why everything's tanking. Because you mentioned the tariffs go into effect tomorrow, so everything's like tanking.
Yeah, he's basically going to try to crash the economy, so they are forced to lower the interest rates.
I don't know if he's trying to crash the economy. I think, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
But I
because
find it interesting because, like, with, I mean, I'm just curious, like, if Bitcoin, because like Bitcoin's problem as far as, uh, or I don't know, like, because it's not going to be tax exempt because it's not allegedly U.S. based. But then I was thinking to myself, like, if it's revealed that DARPA created Bitcoin, right? Like, does it make it non-taxable because it's actually a U.S. based coin? You know what I mean? Which would like either give it value because it's not taxable, or it would totally destroy it because everyone would be like, "Fuck that!" You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know.
Yeah, I didn't even see where it's at today, but yeah, like he just pointed that out. Sorry. Well, I just noticed you're right. It did take a huge dive after that little spike up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everything got rocked. Like I think the S&P even everything fucking has gone down.
it looks like they're cutting off all the bullshit, right? Cutting off all the extra extremities, and they're refocusing it all into America. And then they're trying to crash the previous way of the economy, and kind of. I think he's going to try to see what survives, right? While building a strong American infrastructure at the same time. I think that's a strat. Whether it works or not, I guess we got to see.
No, I think everything he touches is gonna work. We're good.
I do too, but got to be healthily skeptical a little bit.
well, yeah, I mean Trump's
Well then,
strategy
Issa,
is
are you going pro crypto though, Issa? Because in the past, I know you may have been a little whatever your view on crypto, but dude, Trump like he was saying like what is that where the like they want to make crypto like or the United States like the number one like crypto capital of the world or something, some statement like that.
Well, my issue has always been around the national debt, right? And so, like, the romantic Bitcoiners, you know what I mean? Their naivety leads them to think that they're going to, like, create a currency outside of fucking, like, regular money. And that's what I've always railed against. And that's what I
Why,
used to always
dude?
talk
That's
about.
freedom. That's freedom to be able to have some
Now,
alternative in a free and open world. Why not?
like I've said, it's like if you take an ounce of pot from a gangster and then he comes to collect his whatever amount of money, and you tell him, I don't use Federal Reserve notes anymore. Here's some flowers that I made. What's the gangster going to tell you, dude? Like, get my fucking money. So, like, the Bitcoin romanticism of, like, we're going to create a new currency and I'm going to grow apples and everybody can eat one. Like, it just is not, like, that's what I've railed against. But, like, crypto, what I have now come to realize is that crypto is just an elevator in the Wizard of Oz to another floor. The Wizard of Oz. So, like, it's just another extension of the game of the Wizard of Oz game. But it is what it is, you know? I don't know. But I think it's dope. Yeah, fucking XRP. I think Cardano, you know, ADA, and then what was the other one? Um Bitcoin. And it's
Well,
funny too because when he initially put out the tweet, he only mentioned those coins and didn't mention Bitcoin, and then had to write another tweet or whatever it was and correct it and say that Bitcoin was going to be a part of it also. Because everyone was going nuts because they were like, "What do you mean Bitcoin's not going to be?" You know, like even myself, I was like, "Yeah, fuck
You think
Bitcoin."
that's an
But
accident?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter because it's already been corrected. I don't know when they would have taken advantage of it. I mean, and like,
Eventually, the government and the private sector is going to pick the commercial sector. They're going to pick one coin.
well, it's
it's probably
going to be
gonna be
XRP.
probably be a few that would be gonna be involved. Well, Issa, let me just say real quick. From the thing from before though about like the different currencies thing, like if you owe someone something, I would say that kind of has to do with like contract. You know, like if somebody lends you money or there's something going on where you owe them or something, like if you're kind of quote unquote contract with them is that's the thing that's going to be returned if that's what your arrangement is, which starts to like borderline on usury. But if we're not talking about usury, if we're just talking about other stuff, just leaving that side out of it, even just directly, then yeah, it would be kind of a given that it would be repaid in the same thing that it was borrowed in, or that the in that way. So it's like kind of like more of a contractual thing. So that's why if let's say you lend a friend $20 or whatever, and then he comes back and he gives you a Canadian 20, you're like, what? Well, you know what I mean? I'm just joking, but you know what I'm saying? It's like not the same, obviously. So in that sense, like, it wouldn't even really be considered that they even paid the debt back if you're going to get into that kind of,
Well,
debt,
I mean, I don't
debt or
want
debt
to. I just
relationship.
well, not to get too lost in the weeds, because I mean, really, like, let's say you give me an ounce of pot, but I come back and I got a bunch of pills worth the value of it on the street level, right? You know what I mean? Like that might work. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's ways to hack. Like, you know, what I'm just looking at it, and I bring up like that aspect of it because it's lawless. You know what I mean? Because it's the idea that like there's physical violence as a potential threat in the midst of it all. And what I mean is like that. Like, I just think. I mean, I don't know all the end all be all of it, but I just don't. I never thought that Bitcoin was gonna like help a bunch of hippies get away from the fucking system. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. Versus like,
Well, we better hope it does, because I mean I think it's going to be the future no matter what. But the question is, do they control all of it? The big they, like, do
oh
they
no,
actually control,
my
or don't they? Because if they don't, then it means we have like an island of potential that we can. I don't mean just an island. I just mean like what I mean is like a safety raft kind of a theme is what I mean. Like meaning we would have something, because if it's all where the future is headed, like if they control it all, then yeah, then it's really kind of a dismal outcome. But if it's an open source thing that in a sense, somebody could create a blockchain, themselves or whatever, and then it could be not even able to be accessed by these entities, basically, meaning that you can actually have
Right, but then you
Barely
can't
get
order.
access.
Right, but then you can't like that means that then you have to make your own internet, and that means you have to
Well,
make
yeah.
your own other payment system so that you can have a website to be able to sell your goods for whatever new currency you're dealing with. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd have to like totally abandon the structure system, I think. And at that point, you're gonna be by yourself trying to fucking tell everyone to come over. And I just think in order to just naturally ease into the world of business, you're never gonna escape like the dollar bill or like the like I mean Bitcoin is only valuable in proportion to what the dollar says it's valuable to. Um, and I just think it's a basis for the fictional world of digital currencies, and it's gonna be the basis of it because um, it's international business. But what I'm interested in is because also too remember most people don't even know what this shit is. You know what I mean? Like you're never gonna most people. I mean, think about how popular the internet is and how far we've come, and then think of how many people you know that don't know how to use a computer. Like it's never gonna happen where it'll be like easily accessible to everybody. I don't think. I just think that it's gonna be layered on top of the system that we have, and I mean, I'm kind of cool with the system we have because I have a general understanding of it. You know what I mean? And I just think I think it makes sense to me, and I think it's never going to go anywhere because it's the birth certificate that creates the money. You give it to the system, they create the money. They give you an account to go work for the money to work for the system and the society that you live in. It makes sense to me. I don't know. I just don't think we're ever going to leave it. I just think we're going to extend further into the Wizard of Oz.
Real quick, do you guys really don't think they're gonna pick just one coin? You think they're gonna go keep diversifying?
I don't
Yeah,
think
they're
any
probably
one
gonna
coin
have.
can handle it. Yeah, I'll have a bunch, like three or five or something like that. Like I hear H bar is one of them.
Well, Issa, what if it comes down to like in the future, like there's gonna be like a, for lack of a better term, I'll just say like a new world order currency, a new world order rollout, where maybe the smart city rollout as well. Maybe if they try to aim it there. But what if in the future, like their money comes with maybe a vaccine requirement, maybe who knows what else, medical papers, clearance, social credit score. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Medical checks, whatever it may be, um, with that whole money system. And that the only
I think
option, if we're not gonna go be in that, I know it's kind of like 1984 future like outcome on that side, but if we don't want to be in that, thank God there's something like name a blockchain that might be legit, like Avalanche, for example, like Avalanche, or some of these other ones that may be able to actually assist and are built of good people, and it could be even built on transparency and honesty and stuff like that, to where we actually would have an option of something that isn't the vaccine requirement, social credit score. You can get booted from your home for whatever, having COVID, whatever
well,
it
see,
is.
hold on though, because all of that, I think that's why the Constitution matters. That's why these bastards want us to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because it's this idea. That's what I think we voted for this last election was the idea of not going in that direction. And I think that's kind of like actually the powerful part of what happened in the last election is that we have like a president that understands that you can't force mandate vaccines, you can't fire all these people, you can't do all that, and these totalitarians will quickly take advantage of it, and they've proved it. They proved it during the last administration. So I think as long as we hold true to the civil rights and civil liberties that we have that are protected, they can't ever do that. And just like they weren't able to do it when they tried. You know what I mean? They failed. And I don't think we'll go back in that direction. I think people needed what happened to happen so that they now know not to go in that direction. I just don't think we'll ever get that drastic of vaccine. I tell you what, if fucking like Kamala won, then I'd be like, yep, that's where we're going. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I think they're getting their asses handed to them during this administration. You saw Elon Musk on
I think
Rogan.
I'm just gonna. I hear you. I'm just gonna
I,
say I hear you. Yeah, I appreciate hearing your perspective.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you may disagree. Did you see Elon Musk? He said, "I can't expose all the corruption because they're going to kill me." On Rogan, and he was laughing and like kind of like a little bit solemn about it. I was like, damn, it's interesting what's going on.
I truly think he is like a 100% actor. I really don't think he's like is a real dude at the end of the day at this point.
Bro, you have to remember, we have to be mining asteroids, dude. This has to happen. Like you don't like. I mean, I say that in like all seriousness. Like it has to happen. Like really, like the best thing that happened for flat Earth was fucking Jeranism going back to the globe. You know what
Dude,
I mean?
I was listening to a little bit of that round table. Did you see that? There's a lot of people on there. Did you see that one, Issa?
No, I didn't know.
They just did it the other day. But it's just a lot of people that you would know for sure. Like I was like I mean Witsit was on there. It was basically like kind of like I guess David Weiss and then the guy that does like Sean from Kingdom in Context. It's on that channel.
And what were they on about? Just rejecting the globe about the 24-hour sun or something? Or going after Jaren or something? You there?
Yeah, yeah. Hold on one sec. I was just grabbing.
Oh yeah, no worries, bro.
All right, I just got the link for it. I'm gonna post it here. No, it's just this. Basically, it was on. It was okay. I think I got it. That should be it. Yeah. So there's just a Zen Garcia, Mark Sargent, Witsit, Marty Leeds, Joe Hanvey, Matt Long, Rick Hummer, of course David Weiss. That guy Dr. Zach. I guess that was like one of the first times he's ever been on like a live stream. I've never seen what he looks like. It was kind of cool, dude. That you know who Dr. Zach is? He's like on there, like on
He's
video.
been
Pretty
around for a
cool.
while. Yeah, he's been around for a long time, I think.
Okay, well then
Dr.
maybe
Zach.
I've never. Okay, you've seen him on
I,
video and
I
stuff.
feel like I feel like he was like with Karen B and them or some shit.
No, he was for sure, but I just because I think when he came on, maybe I even missed, but maybe I think when he came on, he said they said like, "Oh, this is your first time doing a live stream," and I don't know that I had remembered any time of like seeing him what he looks like, but if I
I
rack
think
my
I've
brain,
only even Yeah, no, I think I've only ever heard about him. Like, they would always be like, Dr. Zach said, and they would always kind of reference him, if I'm not mistaken.
exactly. And I think the case might be that he's always been like he has a channel and he's always been on audio. And maybe these other guys like know him in another but it seems like when he came on the stream, they were like, yeah, something like it was his first time like being on a live stream. But I don't know if that's exactly if I interpreted that correct or not, but I think it might have been the case.
Well,
I think,
a
yeah,
lot of
but
heads, man, a lot of heads a lot of heads stay away from what we're doing. Like, talking out here, blah, 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 blah. You know that, though. What were they on about?
yeah, yeah. Well, and then there's Karen B was on there too, I think, and I think Nathan Thompson was on there. So Marty Leeds, kind of a wide range of people in and through there. It seems like, but yeah, I posted it. I've only listened to I put it on like 2x speed, and I was just trying to rifle through it. I'm only like a quarter of the way in, so they've just been talking about
Cool.
like Jaren flipping. It reminded me of what you were saying though, because they were like about Jaren. They were just saying how like it just makes no sense, like you have all this information about the ground, about all the things, and all the different things that have been uncovered through all these years. And then there's this one thing, this one light in the sky, and then you just throw all the other stuff in the garbage and go back to the globe. Anyways, they
Well,
were commenting on that. Yeah, yeah. So it just reminded me. It's partly why I brought it up because you had mentioned that because they were
I
kind of
was always
commenting on
tripped
the.
out. I was always tripped out, like, because I kind of made a connection between, like, all the popular flat earthers and, like, Free Chan back in the day. And, like, it was kind of wild for me because Free Chan thought I was part of one of those guys trying to infiltrate Free Chan, and then they thought I was part of Free Chan infiltrating them. It was fucking chaos for me for a little while. Uh, but my point, yeah, we eventually got Jaren onto Free Chan one time, and he came on talking about how the economy's going to collapse and about it. He was all this doom and gloom, and I was like, "Yo," I was like, "Not gonna have," I mean, I was coming in preaching the same exact shit that I preach over here with you guys, and I was said the same shit to him, and I was like, "I don't fucking," but he was so doom and gloom about it and so weird about it, and I was just like, "This is weird." And I don't know, man. It's like then there was always all kinds of like mystery about him being some scammer and some hustler, and and there was always this like kind of feel about him. I always never gave a shit to like the shit that people talk, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, a lot of people to them that 24-hour sun, it's like they have to comport it, man. I think the materialistic mind needs to have the stars like comport with the earth. And I just think there's something going on that doesn't mean that it is what it looks like. I don't know why, but that's just how instinctively feel about it. And that's why the 24-hour sun doesn't bother me, like as far as my cosmology. But I just think there's a lot of people try to match the heavens to the earth, and that's where I think if you're trying to do that and you're focusing on the stars, then you're going to come to the conclusion of a globe. And then it's weird because if you study the Earth, you're going to come to the conclusion that it's flat, or at least, I don't know. Like, but it's that conundrum is like if anything life teaches, it's about paradox, right? It's like the harder you grab the sand, the more sand leaves your hand, kind of a thing. It's a paradox. Like life is full of paradoxes. I don't know. It's like why would it end at the stars? I don't know. The paradox seems the most prevalent part about life, you know? But I think the materialistic
Well, it just
mind
shows how.
needs to match them. The materialistic mind needs to match these two. And that's just how I feel about that.
No, I hear you, and I wouldn't. I'm willing to like consider what you're saying, just in terms of the idea that maybe that Jaren. Yeah, that maybe there is yeah, I hear what you're saying. That need to just like it's like he needs a he was saying, oh, Witsit in that thing reminds me. He kind of set an example where like it's like if Jaren's basically saying, okay, there's no map that he can think of that where the 24-hour sun works for him that he can think of. Therefore, there's no explanation for it. Therefore, it must not be flat, and therefore it has to be a globe. And now he's going back to the globe. But Witsit was saying that there's a lot of things the globe doesn't have an explanation for, and Witsit was just sort of saying the idea that like, could he then go to? He wasn't saying he was going to do this, but it's like the idea like, could he then go to Jaren and say, oh, well, the globe doesn't have an explanation for this one thing, therefore it can't be a globe, has to be flat. If you reverse it, that was kind of a clever way to see it. I thought the way
Well,
he said
like, yo,
that.
the globe, I did. I mean, Cathexis was always quick to shut me up, and I got to give him credit for it because I was so like gung ho flat earther, like fuck you, it's flat, come fight me about it. And Kath was always so insistent. He's like, no, dude, the globe model works, but it's just a model. Do you know what I mean? And I just always like it. Always pissed me off that he always defended it in such a way. Like, but in hindsight, he was the most right out of all of us. And like he was I don't know, man, he was just a I wish you were around back when Kath gave a fuck to come out here. But like you know the globe works in this limited realm of like mapping and shit like that, like, but then it tries to go off the deep end with trying to explain away everything, you know what I mean? And like it can't answer certain things, like we all know the problems, but like the globe model for like as a model is a decent model. That's why I've become someone who appreciates the globe, but it doesn't you know it doesn't fucking it's a good way to look at the earth, and think of it. I just don't think that it necessarily is what it is. And I'm like comfortable with that. I don't know.
Yeah, bro. I remember, dude. Cathexis was amazing, dude. Because like, yeah, maybe I wasn't really as like. Well, I used to listen to your show and then other stuff too with him. So I was following him back then, but I was able to definitely catch stuff that he was doing, like when he was doing it and stuff. But yeah, yeah, he was awesome, man, for sure.
Oh,
And
dude, he broke the Globers, dude. He used to just break them, bro. There's like
yeah,
Negator won't recover. Like none of them
ever.
can deal. Like,
He was a
he got,
force, dude. A force to be
you
reckoned
know,
with.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, and like, dude, Negator, dude, we clowned Negator on my like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know, but Cass, I remember I used to be in debates, and Cass was the shit because I'd be in like these one on ones because I have always been in it for like the fight. You know what I mean? Of like, let's go. Like, because my whole motto was like, if you think flat earthers are stupid, then what's up? I'm a flat earther. Fucking fight me about it. Like, what's up? And then I used to fucking just hem them up with conditional acceptances. That's how. And then before I knew it, dude, like when I first came on, like these motherfuckers were in the chat room defending me and had no idea who I was. So I was kind of clocking on certain shit. And they'd be posting my address in the chat, doxing me, fucking. I didn't even care. Like I wasn't even paying attention to the chat. I was just fucking in it. And but Kath and them used to like after I got to know them and stuff, like they always would like hit me up with like, a private, like you can hear it when you're arguing with the Globers. When you make a really good point and then they take 2 minutes and then they come back with another point, it's because somebody emailed them. Somebody emailed them with the fucking answer, and then they try to come back in and argue the answer. But Kath used to feed me these quotes from like Fred Hoyle and like all these cosmologists that were fucking like, just great quotes to destroy these people. But he used to do it like, oh man, he used to be so funny too. That motherfucker's one of the
That is a
funniest.
good way, dude, because when you get the mic, like when it's a setup to where you're modding it to the points where like if you get the mic for a long enough amount of time,
Oh,
to be
dude,
able to read the whole quote, I'm just saying like, and if they can't interrupt or what, I don't know what you exactly with some of the interrupt, but I mean for the most part though, people didn't like. But if you're able just to say the whole thing, I'm just saying like it could get rowdy because like the quote itself, it kind of stands on its own for whatever the point is you're making, in its own way. So it can be like a mic drop moment after it is what I'm saying. And
yeah, oh yeah, no, he used
it
to
goes
hook me up with
wild.
these.
It goes wild.
Yeah, and then they go retarded and like try to attack your character and all the rest of it. And that's where, I always used to kill him. I've been like this the whole time. Like when they, man, it's like that. And
Yo, is
that's why
Texas's channel still up?
I don't know. I think it
He
may
had some
still be
dope
up.
shit on it. He
I
had some
think it
good
may
stuff
still,
on there.
but he got rid of a lot. Dude, he got attacked really hard. Uh, and like, and he wasn't, because he wasn't like built like as far as like I was coming out into this. He was really he's a gentle person and he doesn't want, he doesn't want to create an like enemy out of somebody, but he was like, but all these people took offense to these ideas and like he was funny with it and like we were all witty with it and we were there to, I don't know, but just the idea of like what he instilled in me is to appreciate the globe and appreciate like because I used to be like, oh, Gem Panda's a fucking J Trig, and he's like, no, dude, Gem Panda's just a fucking he's just a nut, like he like walked me off the ledge of calling people J Trigs and shit like that. He's actually the first person to teach me about J Trig, and then it's like immediately the person that teaches you about J Trig becomes the first suspect of J Trig in your fucking mind. So like I had this whole shit where I was freaked out, fucking dude. Kath went on camera for me. That's how hardcore me and him became friends. Like I was like, I was so fucking freaked out, and he like cammed up for me, and he's like, "Nigga, I'm right here, relax." Like, and it's the only person that I'm probably the only person that's seen him out here because of it. Because I was like, when he schooled me on J Trig and all this other shit, I lost my shit, dude. I was like, oh my god, what did we walk into? And at the time, we were also discussing the whole Pizzagate shit. And then at the time, like, dude, it was wild back then. Like there was like because you also had these group of people that were you'd find out in the chats and in the debates that they'd start wanting to debate about age of consent. and shit. You know what I mean? And like lowering the like it was like they wanted to take these conversations and you're like, what the fuck? Who am I talking to? Do you know what I mean? Like, these crazy fucks. And then like, you just nobody knew. And I just think like, it was like, oh shit, it got like it was like weird and like just I don't know. Like I always used to tell like like, my biggest nightmare was like you wait, you hear a bump in the middle of the night. And then you wake up and you walk downstairs, turn the lights on, and it's Patricia Steer, and she's like, "Get over here," you know, some shit like that. Like just fucking, you didn't know what the fuck was going on, man. It was like scary, fucking wild. Always thought that cracked me up. I like Patricia. Like I
Yo,
defended her a
hold
lot.
on real quick. What was the name of Cathexis's channel? Was it just Cathexis or
Yep, just cathexis. And it's
let's
cool. Do
see
you
if
know
I
what
can
that
find it.
word? Do you know what the term cathexis means? Hey, check this out too. And before I say it, so do you guys know who Lionel is? You know Lionel, Gio?
Not
From
so
Peanuts?
well, but a little bit, yeah, but not
He was like,
as.
well, he was. I only know him because he was a WPIX, like Channel 11 New York fucking anchor, special reporter that came on with these weird, cool stories. And he came on to Channel 11 one time talking about World Trade Center 7, and my jaw dropped because I was like, no fucking way. And ever since then, I was like, I love this guy. But he started like he does a whole thing. He's got his own little morning podcast on YouTube and shit. And Cathexis messaged him one time. And Lionel made a video specifically about Cathexis, dude. He goes, this name, blah, 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 blah. And he goes in to explain the name. Like, he did a little video. I got a message from, or he said it as part of one of his live streams.
Hey,
Bro,
I just
what's the
found.
what's
Here, I'm gonna let you finish, but I just found it, Jeremy. I just posted it in the chat. That's Cathexis' channel. It's still up. Yeah, he's got Well, there's 21 videos on there.
He's
There's
probably
videos.
deleted a bunch.
Yeah.
He probably got rid of a bunch. But
can you
I was the one who
can
did the
Issa hold on, man. Hold on, bro.
Yep.
Can you finish this never ending story? What does Cathexis mean?
It means to focus on something to the point of like insanity. To focus
Oh,
on an
that's dope.
idea.
That's
Right?
dope. I like that.
Right, bro? And dude, Lionel did like this whole like because he loves vocabulary. And if you knew Lionel, he's a writer and he's just an ex-prosecutor, a fucking brilliant motherfucker. And he was like, cathexis. And he just sat there and ruminated on it. And he was like, oh my God, like this word, like, and it was just gorgeous the way he did it. But the term cathexis, yeah, to focus on something to the point of like insanity. What a great word. Cathexis. Such a fucking dude. What a great motherfucker too. I'm so
Yo, there's a dope fucking video on there. The information one. It's got QE and who is that? I think
Hey
Bassano's
bro.
in it.
Oh yeah, Bassano. We used to chill with Bassano. Yep, dude. Do you know that? And I like seriously, Cathexis introduced QE to everybody. I seriously like
He's J Trick
Cathexis.
because he's
Right,
J Trick.
exactly. Exactly. Fucking but like he introduced QE to the whole shit. And when QE, it was funny because when QE came out, I was like, really? I was like, this mother. But QE's the killer in like in his own right. I think it got to his head a little bit with everything, but but it was Cathexis that brought him to the table, and like he's the one who brought QE to the mix. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he didn't know Oakley or none of them before Cathexis. And Cathexis came out with him, and he was like, "Yo, this motherfucker." And then he started doing like little debates with him, and I think that's maybe when Bassano and those guys. But Bassano was against. Like, there's a weird thing with Bassano and Bob and like Glowbusters, and everything was really dark back then. Like it was like scary as fuck in its own weird way. Like today, it's like we got channels like yourself and like places where whatever. But that's why I started my channel back in the day. Was I always thought there was no fucking place to just have a soft landing in flat Earth. Like because before you knew it, everybody was calling everyone a tranny. Everyone hated each other. They were friends one minute, enemies the next. Running this like almost like what I don't know if it's psychology or if it was a Breakfast Club thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. But like in the same sense, I used to always look at it like, regardless if it's a Breakfast Club thing or whatever, the whole thing is that these guys would like make a little click, then like destroy it. And I always thought that was kind of cool because it kind of exemplifies the idea that there's no gurus in this. Like your favorite flat earth guru is fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like there's no way that you would align with any of these people like exclusively, but then people did. And they formed groups around them and shit like that. But um like there was no soft place to just have a discussion, and that's kind of what I generated, and why we were doing our thing. And that's why, because Kath and What World and Kath, that was like the little crew. And What World was like my fucking, like anything you wanted to know, he was like pulled up, boom, right there. And we used to put it right on the page. I used to screen share it onto the YouTube and we'd discuss it. But and Cathexis would just elaborate and break everything down, man. It was just, I don't know. But the globe is all right. It's just maybe not what it is.
Well, it's all right for the sky, but not so much for the ground.
Right. I mean, but remember, it's like, dude, like, like really, like the first rule of flat Earth has to start being that you don't invite anyone to become a flat earther. Like, we're done. Like, the books are closed. You know what I mean? We got to mine asteroids now. That's what I think. And it's that duality. It's the idea that the Earth is flat, but I know that the majority of the world needs to think we're going to mine asteroids. It's it's a moral dilemma, right, Gio?
Well, yeah, you're saying that like certain number of people just have to believe we're going to space so that all mayhem doesn't break loose too quickly. So we just like,
Yeah. Well,
come
like,
on,
dude,
guys, hang in there. Don't we got to transition a little slower. It's gonna take some time here. We can't
well,
do
no, I
can't do it
don't
all
think
at once. We can't rip the band-aid
remember.
all up all at once. So
Well, the
that's
globe
why.
is the state. Is the globe is the secular cosmology, and we need there to be secular government. Because before you start getting into religion fucks it all up with the people. You know what I mean? Because then all of a sudden it's my God versus your God type of shit. But like the globe is like a secular cosmology. They don't have a God. They don't have a fucking creator. There's just a void of morality and all the rest of it. But all of that should be filled by whatever your family has taught you and raised you to be growing up. You know? So like, that's the kind of thing like where I just think the globe, it's not going anywhere. It's the state sanctioned cosmology. And as long as the state isn't in control fully, then like I'm all right with it. It's when people give up their rights from God that's where I think it goes crazy. But yeah, you got to get all your friends to think we're mining asteroids. Like the value that's going to bring to our economy, fucking worth it.
Just for a second, going back, well, we could keep on that as well, but just going back for a second, with like the whole Jeranism thing and the whole situation. So, I guess what they've said that after this Antarctica thing, like Jeranism, quote unquote, flipped. I guess Robbie Davidson, remember who remember him, Isa?
I saw, yeah, he quit too. He's in the Globe. Yeah.
I guess so. Well, he made some posts. I haven't heard him speak or whatever, but I don't know what you ever thought of him. I mean, I never really followed much of what he did. Although I guess during those conferences, I was aware of him. But anyways, but the thing is, when you look at like the bulk of the community, Like all like if you want to use that phrase like OGs, like the OGs, like pretty much no one did, other than I guess Jaren, pretty much. If you say he's an OG, which he would be, yeah. I mean, he was around pretty early.
Yeah, Jared's
Um,
fucking OG as fuck. I think, and I don't. Again, it's like the globe or the cosmology is not the litmus test. That's something that needs to be said too. Like, I would hope, like, friends of Jaren wouldn't unfriend him because he went back to the globe. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would hope for him. You know what I mean?
yeah, but you know what's happened though? I think a lot of people have lost their friendships with him. I know of several just that have been public, meaning nothing, not like any private information, but just stuff I've heard just on live streams and things. But even David Weiss just said today, he's like, oh, he's like, I don't talk to Jaron anymore. He's like, I have Jaron blocked everywhere. He's like, I used to be friends with him, but he's like, so I guess they're like, that's what he said or whatever. And then, I
Well,
don't
I
have to
think
name him
he's
now,
been
but yeah.
talking
So,
shit on. He's been talking shit on people too, calling flat earthers retards and doing all the rest of it. I mean, I
yeah.
still, that to me is more funny than anything. Like, I've never, I'm not gonna like hate somebody because they call me retarded. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, right. So, but you're right. I'm sure there are people though that have just like maintained their friendship with him, even though he has flipped. Yeah, if that's what you're saying. Yeah, I'm sure there's some who have just that it didn't impact it, which it
Well, yeah,
wouldn't in
it's like
my view. I mean, as a
it's like
person, like,
like
yeah,
if I was friends with Jaron, for instance, like I'd be like, "Oh my god, dude, would you take the vaccine?" Like I'd be busting his chops all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Like, oh, here comes the Glover. Like I don't know.
I know, right? Like, dude,
You know what I
Easton,
mean? Like
like right now, dude, the way that like we're just like very open here, like when we hang out and stuff. But like, dude, if I literally started coming telling you I was a globe earther, what would happen? Like every day, you'd be like, "Gio, what are you doing?" I know, dude.
yeah,
I'd
I'd be
probably
like,
never
yeah, I
hear
mean, of
the end
course,
of it.
right? But I'm not gonna be like, I hope you fucking die, bro. You fucking left us, man. You know what I mean? Like my cosmological and philosophical strength doesn't rely on any man fucking believing alongside of me. Do you know what I mean? Because this shit is about life and death, bro. And you're born alone and you die alone. So like, fuck the Nets, dude. Especially about my cosmology and my philosophy, like. You know what I mean? Like like the fact is, our society is materialistically strong, spiritually and morally weak, and flat Earth is the upgrade. Flat Earth is the software upgrade, and it can't destroy the body in the process. It can't. It's come to help. It's come to help and alleviate the pains of materialism, and but it's also come, I think. Like, I love that line, like, art is to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. And Flat Earth does that. Hardcore. And, it's the disturbed that need to be comforted. And those are my people. And, you know, the people who are on the globe, you know, it's like Barnum and Bailey, man. Sell them a circus ticket. Free Chan Coriolis insurance, dog.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just think like I guess what I'm trying to say is that like the bulk of the community, especially when it comes to people that have been in it for years, are not doing all this flipping, and it's not like a logical, um, it's not a logical thing.
Well, yeah, remember this though too. It's like
Sorry.
ego comes into play too. It's like people have built businesses on this shit. People have, you know what I mean? Like people, and like that's why like credit to Jaron if that's his opinion that he's going back to the globe to stand up and come on like reverse course against the very tidal wave that he created. You know what I mean? I can respect that. He made a decision. He changed his mind. He's honest about it. You know what I mean? He's fucking, he was ripping on everyone that was a glober when he was a flat earther. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised he's ripping on everyone that's a flat earther now he's a glober. But like, again, it's like, just like when he came into Free Chan and was trying to tell everybody about how the government, the dollar was going to collapse and da, 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 and I was like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, he was stuck on dead on his opinion about that at the time, so like,
Dude, I saw
whatever.
some logo and it said WWF. It was like a logo, almost looked like the World Wrestling Federation kind of thing almost, but it said WWF, and then it said "We Were Flat," and it's like I don't know if it's like a group that like Jaren and somebody said Paul on the Plane is on it. Is that a thing, dude? Is Paul on the Plane one of the few flippers, or I don't know if or not, but the post showed this thing that showed that it said "We Were Flat," and it's like this little group that now Jaren's starting, and I guess the one other's like Robbie Davidson. And then somebody, it's had Paul on the plane, but I don't know if that means that that's like confirmed. But the response was Jaron was saying that he's in the group, or he's in the WWF We Were Flat group. So now you got the We Were Flatters, which is like, I guess Jaron's new movement.
That's it. I didn't know about that. That's wild. That's cool. I mean, shit, whatever. You know. You know.
I mean, I'm joking saying it's Jaron's new movement. I'm just kind of saying that. I'm not saying he's calling, I'm just like, I just saw that logo. I don't even really know who made that logo. So I might just be making whatever leaps, but, or
No,
it is
no.
the thing he made. I don't know. But either
Well,
way,
no,
like,
I tell you what, I tell you what, man, that dude is a productive dude. I could see right away that he'd have a website already called something We Were Flat. You know what I mean? Working on the next step. Like he's a productive dude. You know, he's pushed a lot of this forward, man. You know what I mean? He's pushed a lot of this. You know, like questions could be raised about like when they did Behind the Curve. You know, questions could be raised. You know,
I
but
know. Well, so I know, dude.
yeah. So like but that again, it's like I'm on team. We need everyone to think we're getting asteroids at this point. You know what I mean? I'm cool with it, man. I'm not a like. I don't know. Like I wouldn't be surprised either way, man. And I don't care either way. You know what I mean? You know, as long as I got my right to fucking think differently. You know, like my line was always like, by what authority would you tell me what I can or cannot think? You know? And on top of that, if I live in a world where you can cut your dick off and I gotta call you Cindy, then fucking surely I could be just a flat earther. Change my
What is that
mind at
phrase
some
when
point.
it's like that phrase where it's like you are free to do what we tell you, and they say that.
Well, I always think of, and this is to Kath. I love Cathexis, man. He's the one he just gave me all the greatness of about 1984 when the guy's torturing Winston. And he's saying, do you think it beyond our mathematicians to have the stars infinitely far away or close? Do you think this is beyond our ability to fuck your head? They can make it a flat Earth one day and a globe Earth the next. You know, and it's reality is in your skull, and all this kind of just great knowledge from Orwell, and then George Bernard Shaw, right? Or was it Bernard Shaw? Is Shaw, right? He wrote about flat Earth, saying the Earth is flat. And then you got fucking Alexander, or what's his name? Poe, Alan Poe, right? Writing about the stars. If there were infinite amounts of stars, then there would just be a wall of light at night, basically. He writes it more eloquently. But if there were infinite stars, then the sky should not be black at all. And just an interesting idea, you know. I don't know, but all that kind of stuff, I think has been I think they really did us dirty when they fucking tried to do the moon landing and deprive everybody of this conversation. That was the sin. It's so magical when nobody knows for certain. And for them to try to just pin it down to the globe Earth, and it's 100% certainty, and everyone we dropped a hammer and a feather. We proved Galileo, Kepler, and Copernicus. You know what I mean? What? They stifled a conversation mankind has been having since creation. They literally tried to stifle the most interesting topic in the world And here we are, a bunch of flat earthers fucking reviving this motherfucker. And there's nothing anyone's going to do about it.
Yo, yo.
You know what I'm
Sorry.
saying? Like, that's right, dude. Fucking, this is like, I look at it even from the gate. I've always thought of it like, I don't know, man. Like, our, flat earthers are so, we need to have morale, dude. We're winning, you know?
I don't
And
know,
like,
man. They're leaving us by the fucking dozen, bro.
good,
They're
bro.
jumping off the fucking ship,
Good.
man.
Trimming the fat, bro. And again, it's like, but the real deal is like, it's not the litmus test, brother. The shape, somebody's cosmology is not my litmus test. I know how all of us think about it. We're kind of like, oh God, fucking Glovers. But at the same time, like, it's not like, again, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's like I love hearing, it's funny because I went into gems and I was just like, you hear the ridiculousness and I was chiming in, fighting for Trump, and they're over there praising Zelensky and shit. It's hilarious. But like, and then I come back in here and I was listening to what's his name? Who does all the he always sounds like he's walking and he's talking about molecular biology and trying to school flat earthers. What's his name? Doofus. If I'm not mistaken, was it Doofus? And I love that. Yeah, I love that guy. You know what I mean? He's so fucking like, he'd rather be in here hanging out with us, like discussing molecular biology and how we're wrong about it, than like, in there with the Glovers being a dick. Like, I love that guy. That's fucking awesome. And what an interesting dude. Like, there's so much to learn from that guy. It's like, what's his name? He's left now, I think, but Matthew, even, he's an interesting cat. Everybody that's got all this info where you're like, oh shit. But yeah, as far as like being on the globe or not, you know, get
I swear, okay, baby, I'm back. Play me like a fool.